Gute Woche. Daf Yomi, Brochos, Daf Amud Aleph. And we're up to the last word of the narrow lines before the wide lines. Omar, Shlokish Kol, says Shlokish Kol, Mishiesh Libis Knesses Biroi, everyone who has a shul in his city, in his town, he doesn't enter there to daven nikra, he is called Shochin Ra, a bad neighbor. Shenemer, as the Pasuk states in Yirmiyah, Kol Yomer Hashem, this is what the Eibishter says, I'll call Shechina Yeharoim on all my bad neighbors, Handuigim Ben Achla, that touch in my inheritance. Asher Chalti Asami, that I inherited my nation as Yisrael the Yidin. And that's not enough. He causes Golus exile loy to him, Ulbonav, and to his children. Shnemer, as the Pasuk says in there I will spread them from send them away from their land. As base Yehuda and the house of Yehuda Etish, I will destroy Mitoichem from and make forget Mitoichem from amongst them. Says the Gemara Meiser, Amru Leil Rabbi Yochanan, they had said to Rabbi Yochanan, Ikesabe beBovel, that in Bovel in Iraq, in Babylonia, there are old people. Tama, he was wondering, V'Omar, and he said, Leman Yirbu Imechem, V'Mei the Pasuk quotes, the Pasuk says in Parshas Ekev, we say in Shema, Leman Yirbu Imechem, for you shall have a long life, a lot of long days, many days, you may be nechem in the days of your children, al adama, on the land, meaning on Eretz Yisrael. Ksiv, that's what the pasuk says. Al b'chutz la'aretz, however, in Eretz Yisrael, loy, you wouldn't. There isn't that. Kivin the amrid le mikadmi mechashchel lebekenishte, as if once they had told him that those people are coming early and leaving late from shul, Omar, he said, Hainu de ahanilu, this is what helped him. Kidom Reb Yeshua ben Levi libnei, as Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said to his children, Kidimu v'achashrichu v'ailu lebeknishte, you should go early and leave late from shul, v'ailu, and you should enter lebeknishte in shul, in order that you should live a long life. Says the son of Reb Chanina, what's the pasuk? Where do we derive that from? Ashrei Adam, pasuk says in Mishlei Ches, fortunate is the person Sheimei Ali that listens to me to be constant, to be there constantly. Al Toisaitu or Tanak on my doors, yom day after day, Lishmer to watch, to guard, mezuzas pischai, sochai, the doorwell of my of my house. And it says after that, Kimitzoy, those who found me, Motzov, found Chayim, life. Omar Rav Chizda, says Rav Chizda, a person should always enter two doors into the shul. You really mean it? Two doors? I mean, what's if the shul doesn't have two doors? Ela Ema, say, Pshat is shir shnei psachim, as much as it is to enter two doors. In other words, once you enter the shul, don't daven right away. Wait another minute, another moment, till it takes the time as if to enter another door. Says the Gemara, we're up to the two dots in the middle of the daf, in the middle of the Amid. It's a pasuk in Tehillim over this cause over this matter. Should a chassid be davening all the time to the Eibishter? Over the Indian of mitzoi. What's mitzoi? Mitzoi means a something to find. What does it refer to? Amar Abchanina says to a time of finding the zu isha. It refers to a wife. Shenemar, as the pasuk says in Mishlei Yudches, Malza isha. If you found a woman, Malza tov, you found something good. In Eretz Yisrael, the Gemara constantly refers to Eretz Yisrael as Ma'arova, since since the Gemara is Talmud Bavli, which was learned in Iraq, which is east from Eretz Yisrael, Mizrach from Eretz Yisrael. So Eretz Yisrael, in context of Iraq, of Bavel, is Ma'ariv, which is west. So that's why the Gemara refers to Eretz Yisrael as Ma'ariv. So b'marove in Eretz Yisrael, kinosev inish itze, when a person would marry a woman, Amrile, they would ask him, Pachi, like this, Matzah or Moitze? What kind of finding did you find? Was it from the pasuk of Matzah or from the pasuk of Moitze? There are two psukim. One says Matzah and one says Moitze. What's the difference? Matzah d'chsiv Matzah isha Matzah toiv. Pasuk in Mishlei that we just had. Matzah isha, if you found a woman, a wife. Matzah toiv, you found something good. So that's, in other words, do you have a good life? And that means Matzah. Or v'yafik rotzen, and then Matzah isha Matzah toiv v'yafik rotzen, and it comes out the will may Hashem from the Eibishter. Or the other pasuk, which is Moitze, and Moitze, that's not such a gishmaki pasuk. Moitze, that's a pasuk also in Mishlei, also Mishlei. And I'm sorry, that's in Kehelas Zion. It says also Shlomo Melech, but it says Moitze d'chsiv u'Moitze ani, and I find Mar mimoves as a isha, more bitter than death, the woman. So I guess the pshat is that there are two types of women. There are women that's good to find, and there are women that are bitter. And they would the next Israel ask, is it from the category of matzah isha matzah toiv, or from the category of umoitza nimar mimoves as a isha? Ibn Nosson says le'is mitzoy is a different chat, means zu teire de teire. Shalemar kimot mitzoy, one who found me, the Eibishter or Teire Matzah Chayim found life. Rav Nachman Yitzchak says le'is mitzoy zu misa. Le'is mitzoy refers to misa, death. Shalemar, as the pasuk says, lamavis titzoyis in Tehillim, lamavis titzoyis, and titzoyis Tani. The Gemara will explain. Tani namahochi. We have also learned so in the Brayz. It Shalmei Yisrael Minisa 903 types of deaths. Nivru ba'olam were created in the world. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, la'movas teitzois, to death. Teitzois are the outcomes, and teitzois bigematria hochi havi. Teitzois is bigematria, the numeric value of 903. Let's make a quick. Let's count it quickly. Teitzois is Tov Vav Tzadik Aleph Vav Sof. So Tov is 400. Tov Vav is 406. Tov Vav Tzadik is 496. With an Aleph is 497. With a Vav is 503. With another Tov, which is 400, is 903. Kasha Shebekulon, the most difficult of all of them is Askera. Nicha Shebekulon, the easiest death is Neshika, like a kiss. Askera Damya, Askera feels like Chizre Begav V'Damre, like when you have the chills. It's like Chizre. Let's see what Rashi teaches for the word Chizre. Rashi says Chizre Begav V'Damre D'Lachoyre Nashre Ka'anfei Hasirim, like the leaves of the paths. I don't know what Rashi refers to. And the that get stuck. Begizas hatzemer in the piece of wall. When a person pulls very strongly away the wool from where it's caught in, and it throws it backwards. Of course, if you throw the pieces, then the wool will get along and it will like pull away into what it's like very rough. That's that's asked. Some say which Rashi says the Piveshet is the food pipe, but Yamik Yon says Rashi Yesh B'Mikaimis, the ocean has in its places She'enu Mikabel Barzel, that does not accept metal, meaning it goes against the magnetic force, or maybe it's the magnetic force, meaning the areas that pull the ship, and therefore over there you need if you go there with a ship, it needs to be without any metal. So how do you put out such a ship? Through strings. And those strings has to be fit in the hole exactly to the hole, so that it doesn't get in water and any water in between. So that's the difficulty of that misa. It's like getting through an exact thing in the size. Neshika, the misa that's considered as neshika, which is a kiss. Damya is doima, is similar to mishchel benisa mechelba. It's like someone pulls out a hair from a cup of milk. Rabbi Yochanan says le'esim tzoi zu kvura. Le'esim tzoi refers to kvura. Burying. Rabbi Chanina says, Rabbi Chanina Micro, what's the posik that we see that le'esim tzoi refers to kvura? Hasmeichem eligil. It's a posik in Eiv. Those who are happy, eligil Yasisu will be happy. That they found a burial plot. Rav Shila says Rav Shila. And this is what people say. Liboyin sherachman. A person should ask Rachmanos of the Eibishter. Afila azibule basraise. Afila on the last, till the last moment, shleime, fully. Meaning even for the kever. Marzutra Omar leisim tzeize besakise. First to besakise, to have a toilet handy. Omri restroom. Omri bimarov says they had said in Eretz Yisrael, hold the marzitre, the memory, the saying of marzutra, which refers to besakise, adif mikul, who is the strongest of all. Omri Rav the Rafram Bapop says Rav to Rafram Bapop leimelon mar mahani mili ma'al yizeh. Please, should the master say some good stuff, the amr that you had said, Mishmei Rav Chizda, in the name of Rav Chizda, B'mili de Beknishte, in the ideas of Shul. Amr lei, he said, he answered him, Hachi, Amr Rav Chizda, this is what Rav Chizda says, Ma'id Chsiv, what's the pirish, what's the meaning of the pasuk in Tehillim, Pei Zayin, Oyev Hashem Sharetzin, Hashem loves the doors of Tzion, Mikoil Mishkan is Yargif, rather than from all dwelling places of Yaakov. It refers to Oyev Hashem Sha'arim Amtsuyonim Ba'aloche. Hashem loves those doors that are marked with halacha yoiser more mibotik nesis mibotik midrashis, more than regular shuls and where you daven and you learn. In other words, Hashem loves when you rather focus on the halacha. This is what Rabbi Bar Ami says in the name of Ula. From the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Hashem doesn't have in His world just the 4 amos of halacha, and meaning just the right there where you learn halacha. Once upon a time, in the beginning, I had learned at home. And I had davened in shul. Since I have heard what Rabbi Bar Ami says in the name of Ula, the memory that we just have learned, that from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, that Hashem doesn't have in His world, but the Dalet Amis, the 4 Amis of Halacha Bilvad only. I stopped davening in shul, or stopped davening elsewhere than But there, right then and there, where I have learned. Reb Ami and Reb Asi, although they had 13 shuls in Tveria, in the city of Tveria where they had lived, they wouldn't daven just between those walls where they had learned. Another member in the name of Reb Chia Bar Ami in the name of Ula. Goldel, it's greater Hanahanimi Gia Kapai. Though a person who sustains himself with a parnosa from the work of his hands, Yoisir more Mirei Shemaim from rather than a person that is fearful of the Eibishter. The illegal Yerushalayim, by Yerushalayim, the pasuk says, "Ashish, fortunate to the person Yoreis Hashem that he fears the Eibishter." Ve'ilu, however, Gaben Hanami Giyoi, one who works hard and lives off the work of his hands. The pasuk says, the work of the toil of your hands. Of your palm of your hands, that you eat. Ashrecha, fortunate and good for you. Ashrecha, fortunate are you in this world. And good is for you in the world to come. However, for Yerushalayim, for a fear of heaven, says it says only Ashrei, what's the word? Ashrei Ish Yoreis Hashem. Fortunate is the person that fears the Eibishter, but it doesn't say v'toivlach. Reb Chia Bar Ami says Reb Chia Bar Ami in the name of Ula. A person should always seek to live in the place of his in the area of his Rebbe. As we see, as long as Shimi ben Gera as Shimi ben Gera lived, like no Shlomo didn't marry the daughter of Pari. Tanya asked the Gemara Kasha, we had learned Al Yodir that the person should not live near his Rebbe. Like Kasha, it's not a question. It's not a contradiction. Hold the kaifle here. If you obey, if you're obedient to your Rebbe, then it's good to live there. Hold like kaifle. If you're not obedient, rather don't live there in order not to fall prey for not obeying your Rebbe. And it's interesting, just today, we had in our Haftarah in Parshas Vachi that where David says for Shlomo to take revenge of Yoav and Shimi ben Gera. It's interesting. Actually, by Yoav, Rashi says over there that you should see for him to die not a normal death, in order that he does not have to fall in Gehenna. In other words, it's a rachmanis that David had on Yoav, that he shouldn't have to reach Gehenna. Anyway, but over there we also have that he told him that he should see to it that Shimi ben Gera should also be killed for cursing, because he cursed David when he ran from Avshalom. Anyway, let's get going in the Gemara. And it's just interesting that our Shimi ben Gera, as being a Rebbe of Shlomo, and David said that for Shlomo. Still have to learn about that, but let's learn the Gemara weiter. Amar Ravuna says Ravuna bar Yehuda. Amar Menachem Amar Abami Mai D'chsiv. What's the pshat in the pasuk? V'ez v'Hashem yichaylu or yichlu, that those who leave God will seize. It refers to leaving behind a Sefer Torah. While it's open, and he leaves the room. The Bavo Nofik ben Gavra the Gavra. The Bavo would exit the shul between the aliyahs when he called one person to the Sefer Torah while they're not laning. It's after the aliyah. For the next one, he would leave. He would exit the shul. Boy Rav Papa asked Rav Papa in Psuka Psuka, between one pasuk and the other pasuk. I would assume it refers to while in those days there was a meturgiman, one who would translate the reading of the Torah, and probably it refers to while covering the Torah between one pasuk and another, while the meturgiman would translate it. I'm not sure. Mao Teiku. Answer the Gemara Teiku. We don't have an answer. Or Tishbi Yitar, it's Kishli Boys. It's Matzah Shabbos, so it's good to mention those. Tishbi refers to Eliyahu Novi, that he will answer us the questions that we stay with when Mashiach will come. Rav Sheshis Mahadir Ape, Rav Sheshis would turn away the goddess and learn Torah while laning. Omar, he said, Anan Bididan, we are into our Shir, Inu Bididu, in the Shul, the congregation is busy with the Kahal, is into reading the Torah portion of that week. We're doing our business, they're doing their business, and let's live and let live. Amar Ravuna Bar Yehuda says Ravuna Bar Yehuda, Amar Rabbi Ami, in the name of Rabbi Ami, Lo Ilam Yashlim Odom Parshi Yosef Matzibir. A person should always finish up his parshiyos that he learns in the Torah Matzibir together with the tzibur, with all the with the people. In other words, weekly you should learn the parashia. Rashi says Yashin Parshiyos shall call Shabbos of every Shabbos. Shnai Mikra, 2 times the pasuk ve'echat targum, and once the targum, meaning Inculus. Vafilu Ator Zedivin, even Ator Zedivin, which are names of places that don't have a translation in the targum, you should still say those words. Shakol Amashlim Parsh Yosef, one who finishes up his parashiyos in Matzibur together with their tzibur, with the congregation. Marichin Lo Yom of Shnoisav, Hashem gives him a long life, long days and many days and many years. Ravivi Barabai Sover Lashlimunhu Lashluminhu the parashiyos. Ravivi Barabai would thought to finish up his parashiyos, the kulashat of all year long. Till Yom Kippur he would be finished. So Reb Chia Barav from Difte learned to him. See, if the pasuk says, one should afflict his soul in the 9th of the Chodesh, meaning of Tishrei B'erev, in the evening. Do we fast in the 9th day of Tishrei? We fast in the 10th day of Tishrei. It comes to tell us, one who eats and drinks b'chi in the 9th day of Tishrei, because of the pasuk considers him ki'ilu mis'ana, as if he would fast 2 days, which is Chi Vasili, the 9th and the 10th day of Tishrei. What does that refer to? Being to finish up to. If Rabbi would finish it before Yom Kippur, so he was told by Chibarav Medifte about fasting. What's the shaykhis? Not sure. I think I don't know. What's the so? What's the question? Because of so he asks about for being Maver Seder from fasting. I'm not sure. Please, if you know, write in the comments and tell me. Please, I don't know. I'll try to look to know, but for now I don't know. Okay. So lagdu minhu. He thought to be ahead, meaning to finish it earlier. I guess it's just like to fast Yom Kippur. There would be a shear of a day earlier eating. In other words, and maybe this is referring to the same, to be matched, to finish up the Bima Seder in time, not to fall prey for the last moment. Just as we have in eating, we eat earlier in order to fast later, maybe. So he think to be ahead of the game with to be Maver Seder earlier in order to be ahead, just like by fasting you prepare from before. And so on this Ahusaba, that elder person told him, Tanina, we learned that you should watch out not to do it earlier and not later. Meaning, he wanted to do all the parshas, not to wait for the last minute for right before Yom Kippur, but rather do it right in the beginning of the year to be ahead with all the parshas. So he said, no, every parsha belongs to be said in its week. Where do we see that? Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi would say to his sons, finish up the parashas in Matzibur together with the congregation. Shnai Mikra, twice the posik, ve'echad targum, and once the targum inklus. And then he would add, v'yizaru, and be watch out bevrieden for the veins. Rabbi Yehuda, as the shita of Rabbi Yehuda. What's that? The Tam that we have learned in the Mishnah, and you have there. The Mishnah is like this: Hasheichet, one who shechts echad ba'oif. So there are two simonim that you have to cut through by the shecht, which is the windpipe and the food pipe. Kon and the veishit. So if you shecht one of them fully by a bird and two by a behemoth, that's what needs to be done. That's a kosher shchita. Most of one of them is as if you did the whole thing. Meaning, so by bird it's enough most of one, and by a behemoth it needs to be most of two. Rabbi Yehuda says that's not enough. You also have to check the vriden, which are the veins. Okay, so that is the memory of Rabbi Yehuda. So he said you should finish the parsha with the tzibur, and you should watch out for the vriden, for the veins, as the shita of Rabbi Yehuda. Now, as we had learned, Rabbi Yehuda says until you finish shechting the slaughtering, cutting the veins. When you should watch bizokin for an elder Talmud Chacham that forgot his learning, because he's old and he is in a forgetting situation. The meaning that, as we Chazal say, luchos, shiva luchos, both the luchos that are current, shiva luchos, and the first luchos tablets that Hashem gave from Moshe and broke them, both are menachem ba'arin, are lying in the arin, in the ark of the Beis Hamikdash. And therefore, even a Shivra Luchos, referring to a old Talmud Chacham who forgot his learning, is also considered that you should watch for. Says Rava to his Rava said to his sons, when you cut something, basar, when you cut meat, al don't cut al gavayad against your hand. Other say because of sakana, because of danger. If there will be some blood, and it will be very distasteful or uncomfortable situation. Even with a slight cut, not a dangerous issue, but it still will be considered to be kilkusida, not a nice meal. Va'al teshvin, don't sit al mit aramis on a bed of a aramis, Armenian. Va'al tavru, and don't pass achoyde b'seknes in the back of a shul b'shosh tzibur b'spalin while the congregation is davening. Va'al teshvu al mit aramis. You should not sit on a bed of an Armenian. Why? Some say loitigni don't, or what does it mean? Some say it means loitigni don't go to sleep without kriyashma, meaning to say don't go to sleep like an Armenian, go to sleep like a Yid, learning kriyashma, reciting the Shema, the unity of the Eibishter. And some say it means the loitin sevigurti, you should not marry a convert. Some say no, it means Aramis Mamish. Literally, it's talking about an Armenian. What's bad about that? Just because there was a certain situation, there was a Maisa Shahoya. It happened, a story that happened. The Rav Papa, the Maisa of Rav Papa. The Rav Papa also lagab Aramis. Rav Papa was on his way, and he had to enter the house of an Armenian. She pulled out a bed, and he said to him, "Shave, sit down." He told her, "Ein Yosef, I don't sit down. Till you lift the bed." She lifted the bed, and they found there a dead body of a child. In other words, she wanted him to sit down, and then she would say that he killed him. So like Baruch Hashem, that Hashem saved him by not sitting down there, and because of the story that happened, Rabbi said, don't sit down on an Armenian's bed. From this come to say also Aramis, it's forbidden to sit on a bed of an Armenian. Don't pass in the back of a shul while the congregation is davening. It's a raya of Yeshua ben Levi to the words of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. That Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says also a person is forbidden to pass in the back of a Beis Knesses, in the back of a shul while the congregation is davening. It's not said only if there is no other door. If there is an other door, it doesn't matter. It's okay, because one who sees him can think he'll go into shul by the other door. And that's not said if there isn't any other shul. If there is another shul, there's no problem, because the one who sees him not entering the shul would think he goes to another shul. And that's not said if he doesn't schlep something. He doesn't wear tefillin. If there has any other of these that people will cause people to be able to judge him favorably, that there's any other reason why he doesn't go into shul, but there is no problem, and you can pass the shul behind the shul even while the congregation is davening. Says the Gemara Vayit Tanya, we had learned. Amar Rabbi Kiva says in 3 things I like as Modayim, the people of Modai. While they cut as Abasa the meat, they do not cut El al Gava Shulchan, only on top of the table. When they kiss, they do not kiss El al Gava, just on the hand of the other, not in the face. And Rashi explains that that's a chashuva way of kissing, so that you don't give your saliva to anyone else. And when you take advice, and they don't advise each other. But in the field. What's behind it? Where do we see that in the Torah? We see that Yankov sent Vayishlach Yankov Vayikra, and he called Rachel to Rachel and to Leah, his wives, Asoda, to advise with them, to take advice with them, to talk about leaving Lavan's area, El Tzone, to his flock of sheep, and over there in the field, that's where he spoke with them about it, about his plans. Tanya Omer Ibn Gamliel says, Ibn Gamliel b'shleishet dvarim, in three things Oyavani I like as a Parsim, the people of Paras. Hence Nuyin b'achilos, they are modest in their way of eating. Utzniyan, they are modest b'beis hakisei, and using the restroom. Utzniyan, and they are modest b'davar in another thing, which means in the area where we are told by the Eibishter in the Torah to have a holy behavior in that area. And he says the Gemara, the Pasuk says in Yeshaya Hanovi, Ani tzivisi lim kudoshai, I had commanded to my holies, to those who sanctify me. Ton Reb Yosef, lim kudoshai. I'm not sure what lim kudoshai here would mean. And let's see what the Gemara says. Ton Reb Yosef says, Reb Yosef had learned Reb Yosef, Elu haparsim, this refers to the parsim of Kudoshim that are, like, he refers here to Mikdoshin as people who are set aside, like Kodesh, like Koilasher, Gebam Yigdosh. Yigdosh would need to be set aside. So the parsim are set aside, and they're prepared like Gehenim. Probably because they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, or they, not sure, or they had us in exile, maybe. So this, the Gemara here will refer to back to the Mishnah, the third shita of till when can one recite the Shema at night. First shita is divided Reb Eliezer, is till the end of the first third of the night, the first Hashmoyda, which is 10 o'clock, let's say. The second shita is the Chachamim that say at Chatzos till midnight. Third shita is Reb Gamliel that says till the morning, till dawn breaks. Reb Gamliel Omer B'chulu. Omar Rabbi Yehuda Mashvil says Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Shmuel Halacha. Reb Gamliel, the Halacha is like the law is like Reb Gamliel, that you can recite the Shema till morning, till dawn breaks, till Amud HaShachar. Tanya Reb Shimon ben Yochi Yomer. We had learned that Shimon ben Yochi says Pa'amim, sometimes Sha'odam Koyre Kriyas Shema Shtei Pa'amim B'layla. A person can say can recite the Shema 2 times at night. Achas Koydim Shi'al Amud HaShachar, one before dawn breaks. Achas La'achar Shi'al Amud HaShachar, one, the second one after dawn breaks. And he will be Yoitze with this. His obligation, Achas Shel Yom, Achas Shel Laila, the first one of day and one of night, meaning the first of night and the second of day. As the Gemara who got Hagu for Kasha. So this it's very controversial. Is first you say Pam Jodim Koyri Kriyas Shema. A person can recite the Shema 2 times, Balayla night at night. Alma. So we see from that the second time is still considered to be night, meaning even the Achar Sheyalim the Shachar, even after dawn breaks, is still Laila, who it's night. And then you learn Yoitze Ben, and your Yoitze your obligation Achas Shel one of night day, Achas Shel Laila, and one of night, meaning before dawn breaks your Yoitze the one of night, and after dawn breaks your Yoitze the one of day. Although after dawn you still call to be considered as night, and Almi Yamama, who if you're going to the Kriyas Shema of day, you must say that it's considered to be day. And says the Gemara, really it's considered to be night. Why did you call it Yom? Because some people are already get up at that time, and therefore you call it the Kriyas Shema of daytime. Omer Abache Bar Chanina says Abache the son of Chanina. Omer B'Shuma Levi says B'Shuma Levi Haloch the Haloch is like B'Shuma Beyochi that said that you can be yoytze those 2 Shemas. by one before dawn and one after dawn. Some learn the words of Rabbi Chanina in the name of Rabbi Shimon Levi on different Rabbi Shimon Yochai. The Tanya, Rabbi Shimon Yochai says, Oimer says, a little bit different than before. He says, Mishim Rabbi Kiva in the name of Rabbi Kiva poem, sometimes sometimes a person can recite the Shema 2 times by Yom at daytime. Different than it said before. Before it said 2 times at night. Here it says 2 times a day. One before sunrise and one after sunrise. And he would be Yotzi his obligation. One for the Kriyas Shema of the obligation of Kriyas Shema of the day, and one of the obligation of the Kriyas Shema of the previous night. Meaning the one before sunrise, before Netzachama, would be considered, he would be Yotze his obligation of the mitzvahs Kriyas Shema of night, and the one after Netzachama he would be Yotze the one of the day. Hagufa Kasha, and the Gemara asks here the Kasha, same Kasha as before. Amris, first you call a day as you say Pom Shadim Kriyas Shema Shtei Pom B'yim. One recites the Shema twice in the day. So since we're talking one before Netzachama and after one and after Netzachama, and you say for both, he's Yotze the Kriyas Shema of day, he recites the Kriyas Shema in the day. So you see that even before Netzachama is called day, and then you learn Yotze, meaning you are Yotze, your obligation actually in one from day, but actually in one from night. So you see that before Netzachama is considered to be night. And so the Gemara lo really Yamahu, it's all day. You know why he calls it night? There are still people who sleep at that time. Omar Reb Acha Reb Chanina, says Reb Acha, the son of Reb Chanina. Omar Reb Shimon Levi, says Reb Shimon Levi, Aloch Reb Shimon, Aloch is like Reb Shimon. Omar Reb Kiva, that said in the name of Reb Kiva, meaning the second shot of one before Netzachama and one of after Netzachama. Omar Reb Zedi says Reb Zedi Bulash Leim Ashkevenu, he should not say Ashkevenu, which is the second brocha after Kriyas Shema Shel Arvis, which asks the Eibishter to please put me to sleep at night, to have a good sleep. It's not sleep time. Don't say Ashkevenu. Ki also Reb Chia Bar Yosef, when Reb Chia Bar Yosef came, Omar, he said, Hod Reb Acha Reb Chanina, Omar Reb Shimon Levi, this member of Reb Acha Reb Chanina in the name of Reb Shimon Levi, that says that the halacha is like Reb Shimon in the name of Reb Kiva. Lav Fereshit Mir Elo Miklol Itmir. We didn't learn that directly, but just from the whole situation, we got that understanding. Itmir. Da'uzig, because there was a story. The Rabbanan, the Shtaker Beilula, the Berei, the Reb Shimon Levi. There was these 2 young students that got drunk by a wedding of the son of Rabbi Shimon Levi. Also, the comment of Rabbi Shimon Levi. So they came to Rabbi Shimon Levi and asked them that we did not recite the Shema yet of night. Omar. Then he said, Kedai hu Rabbi Shimon by Yochi, that said that you can recite the Shema 2 times, one before nights and one after nights, and you should be Yochi the Kriyas Shema of nights by saying still till nights. Kedai Rabbi Shimon lismech olav shas atchak. While you don't have a done situation, it's a shas atchak. It's done already. It's that time already. Still say the Shema in order to be Yotzei for that. A happy Vach, Kol Tov.